Feel the pulse, a quiet hum, a steady rhythm like a distant drum. In the darkness, waiting for the sun, a brand new day is yet to come. They build the walls to keep us down, whisper lies all over town. But every seed that hits the ground will break the silence with its sound. I hold this truth inside my hand, and on this solid rock I'll stand. Oh, can you feel the justice rising? Got a new horizon in my soul. Yeah, I got faith, it's multiplying, and it's taking back all the control. This vibration's gonna shake the nation. Let them talk their empty words. My spirit flies on with the birds. Their tangled webs are so absurd. My simple truth will be heard. No, I won't bow, I won't break down. I'm here to claim my righteous crown. Oh, can you feel the justice rising? Justice rising. Got a new horizon in my soul. Yeah, I got faith, it's multiplying. It's multiplying. And it's taking back all the control. This vibration's gonna shake the nation. Justice rising. Calling my name. Feel the vibration. Feel it deep inside. A new creation. Yeah.
From shadows deep, a whisper starts to bloom, a tiny spark defying all the gloom. They said we were too small to eat, to rise, ignored the fire burning in our eyes. But every root we set, a promise made, a silent strength that never will evade.
tears we cried, the inner strength we held deep down inside. We journeys long but bitter unfolds across the field. The river standing tall, banish every fear. We will rise, till the phoenix will rise. On our triumph echoes, reaching for the sky. Unstoppable glory, eternally we fly.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Okay, welcome in. So I just got done with talking about AT is not innocent. Ann Taylor, is that what you mean, Deb? So I just got done with the live stream for Freedom Friday, and I turn around and there is a new video that Jules has up with Jack DeCour's interview. So I figured, let's go ahead, let's listen to this together, because I have not heard it and I definitely want to hear it. So if you guys want to hang out, get in the live, get in the chat, drop your thoughts. We're going to go ahead and listen to this. And, you know, you don't have to participate if you want to just listen in. Let's see what Jack DeCour has to say on November, I believe this is the 17th. So let's just see what he's got to say about this. And this was on Jules. So thank you, Jules. She is a really good content creator, but I want to go ahead and get this as big as I can so that give her the credit. So this is a November 17th interview. So let's see what he's got to say. Drop your comments and your thoughts as we go along. If I see something good, we'll stop it and we'll chit chat.
2022, it's 10:03 a.m. This is Detective Sergeant Mike Van Leuven with the Idaho State Police. With me is Detective Rich Alderson, and we're here interviewing with at the District 1 office. I'd like to start, I think, by just recapping what we talked about already, and if I got anything wrong, then correct me so this is all accurate. And I know this is a little disjointed, but this is just the way our conversation went in order. So first, we sort of talked about your relationship with the other folks that were there in the house. So Kaylee was your girlfriend, and you broke up. I apologize. Let me put this on mute. Kaylee was your girlfriend, and you broke up approximately 3 months ago. And that you had attended school with Madison. Is that right? Okay. You knew Xana, and you'd worked with you met Ethan, didn't know him very well, exchanged Snapchats. Is that okay? You were born, you went to You went for a year.
For a year. When I
For a
was
year.
that age.
Okay. You went to
Okay, let me get this right. He just said they were broken up for 3 months. So they must have been broken up when school got back in session, because I thought someone had said 3 weeks prior. So obviously it's now 3 months. They had broken up 3 months. That makes sense. Anybody else got that? I believe his mom and dad are there. Well, you know what? There was only one interview in the ISP. And in the beginning of this interview, it doesn't say that anybody else is present. So I'm sure that we'll hear a little bit more. Now, he did say that he went to school with Maddie. I maybe had classes. Let me go back just a tiny bit. This was at the beginning. It's Thursday, November 22nd.
This is Detective Sergeant Mike Van Leuven with the Idaho State Police. With me is Detective Rich Alderson, and we're here interviewing with at the District 1 office. I'd like to start, I think, by just recapping what we talked about already. And if I got anything wrong, then correct me so this is all accurate. And I know this is a little disjointed, but this is just the way our conversation went in order. So first, we sort of talked about your relationship with the other folks that were there in the house. So Kaylee was your girlfriend, and you broke up. I apologize. Let me put this on mute. Kaylee was your girlfriend, and you broke up approximately 3 months ago. And that you had attended school with Madison. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You knew Xana, and you'd worked with you met Ethan, didn't know him very well, exchanged Snapchats. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. You were born, you went to you went for a year.
For a year. When I
For
was
a
that
year.
age.
Okay. You went to used for you.
So obviously there is a heavy redaction, and
You'd started dating Kaylee. She was taking a job in Austin. Your breakup was a mutual decision. There was no drama involved.
yeah, this is an investigation at the ISP level. Now, this is the first time I'm watching this with you. Heavily redacted. This is weird.
Then we moved to the day that this happened, and you said you worked for the and you went to work on Saturday the 12th from about 2:20 p.m. and you got off at 10:30. You worked mostly in the kitchen. After that, you'd gone to the corner club and dropped off a pizza for your roommate, and then you went home after that. Your roommates, you live in a
Well, we already know where he lives. He lives with Adam Lauda at 1127. Now, guys, remember, that's all public information. That has been released already. And yes, this is Detective Van Leuven with the ISP. He is a real detective.
mostly you communicate using, but you did give me 3 of the 4's telephone numbers.
He is reviewing notes from previous interviews, so I don't know what number interview this is.
Your vehicle is
8 minutes of redaction. Holy moly.
And after that, you drove home to where you stay, and nobody was downstairs. So you went upstairs. Your upstairs neighbors.
He came home and nobody home.
All of your roommates are all.
It's not one of the roommates up there. It's just a friend. Yeah.
Just a friend. Oh, that was one of the roommates that was there, but it was not a roommate. It was a friend that was visiting. I wonder who that friend was. Was it somebody's relative? Like,
And then that's the next. And then also was there, and that's the next thing I was going to say is that all those guys are all.
who was the
Is that right?
visitor? Lauda's family
They said
member?
that they were going to go to the corner club. So you went downstairs, changed your sweatshirt, got a beer, put some deodorant on, and you were waiting for your fraternity's sober driver to show up. And you don't remember who that person is, but you think that he was driving in. And you and Nate in that vehicle to the corner
Nate
club.
Trackowitz?
You arrived at the corner club approximately 11 p.m. The place was packed, and there was a line outside, but your roommate and fraternity brother was working there, so he got you in. You got into a confrontation with a guy named who was because he was messing with one of your friends, pulling their hair or something like that.
Adult. Oh.
And stepped in and sort of told you to back off, and you and came to some sort of a peace and bought each other a shot of tequila. You saw Kaylee at the corner club. You don't know who she arrived with or who she left with. You don't know whether she got there first or you got there first. It was common to see Kaylee at the corner club.
I'll say one thing.
Yep.
As far as I know, just based off like the video from the Grub Truck and stuff, I believe that Kaylee and Maddie might have left the bar with just because they enter the camera, just them three together.
So he's saying that Maddie and Kaylee might have left with Showalter. Interesting. So yeah, according to another rumor that we have not verified, but he just said it, something about pulling hair. There was a adult, and I don't know if it was Maddie. I don't know, maybe it was Maddie or another girl, but somebody's hair was being pulled, but it was said and rumored to be adult.
And then he steps back as they go up to order,
And I want to talk more about him.
Okay.
That's definitely a topic of conversation today. Is but do you remember seeing at the corner club?
I don't know.
He doesn't
you know
remember?
him enough that if he was there, you would have said, "Hey, I mean, could he have been there and you just wouldn't have noticed?"
I didn't even know his name until I recognized the kid in the video, and I sent that screenshot to a friend, and they said, "Yeah, I believe that's." And then I looked up his name, and I kind of put the faces to match, and that's how I got that. But I probably wouldn't have even noticed or like thought of anything if I did lay eyes on him there.
Because you didn't know him.
No, not really.
Okay. So well, let's wait for that because I want to talk about him. But
Okay,
let's
so
finish
they're
this recap first.
recapping. They've talked, I guess, at a different time, trying to get all the details down to put it in, obviously, a document, narrative, and what have you. Here's the concern. Jack didn't know Jack Showalter. However, he kind of put it together. How many people really knew Jack Showalter? Because Jack Showalter was acting like he was really good friends with Maddie because Jack Schreiger was obviously alleged Jack Showalter's friend. But who really was Showalter to these people? That's really shocking. Yeah, it's the previous statements that he's gathered, they're reviewing. And somebody's saying it was Maddie's friend that got her hair pulled, and there was kind of like a little beef, and then they smoothed it over and bought a shot of tequila and everything was cool. But here's the question. is it doesn't sound like Jack DeCour knew Jack Showalter. And that 17-minute phone call that everyone tries to kind of avoid the questions. I wonder, let's listen a little bit more. I've got a thought on that. And I've got a thought on a couple of other things.
Girls that were friends of Kaylee's that you did remember seeing at the bar with her were coincidentally was a girlfriend of. Were those three all? Yeah. Okay. I asked what you talked about with Kaylee. You said hi, and you talked about the tussle you got in with, and that you left the corner club about 1 a.m. In total, you'd had before getting there.
Yeah, but we don't even know if that's true because JD just acted like he didn't know Jack Showalter. So how could somebody ask somebody, hey, watch the girls, like make sure they're safe, or watch the girls and, keep an eye on them, let me know where they're going if they're headed home? Is that kind of what you're referring to? Or just keep an eye on them, make sure they're safe? Because I think, in my opinion, that Grub Truck and the footage of watching Showalter was like he was monitoring them to make sure they weren't going back home. But they were supposed to originally go to John's Alley, which they didn't go to either.
You went outside, and your sober driver, who was the freshman from your house, he'd gotten pulled over by the police, and you had too many people to get in the car since the cops were there, so you held back with some of your friends and called for a ride to your chapter. Said that the freshman could be done for the night, and he drove himself and came and picked you up, and it was you
Nate.
and I'm not sure whether those were the ones that he picked up or those were the ones that you hung out with when you got back to your house.
Those are the ones that I hung out with when I was back at my house.
Do you remember who picked you when picked you up? Who was in the car?
I'm fairly certain that it was, but I can't be sure about anyone else.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know who that's for, but I just told Mrs. Burney. She asked, haven't we heard, though, that JD asked JS to watch the girls? Jack DeCour just said he didn't know who Jack Showalter was, so I don't think that's true. Now, Jack Shriver, who was dating Maddie, who lived in Boise, who was formerly there a frat, how do we know that he asked Jack Showalter to look after Maddie? How do we know that? Do we have something in writing? Or are we just speculating? Just want to make sure.
So when you came back to the house and you hung out with your friends, you said you had an urge to throw up. You tried, but you couldn't. You had a couple.
Obviously, this is redacted heavily.
And so you went into your room and shut the door and you fell asleep. And that you woke at about 11:30. You were there with me and that came in and talked about the cops being outside. And at that point, you tried to call Kaylee.
So let me ask you guys this question. Wasn't there a discrepancy on what time he left the corner club? Wasn't there some discrepancy? Because I remember, yeah, Schreiger has never spoken out. Hey, Kathy, good to see ya. And hi, Monique, I saw you come in. So what time did Jack DeCour leave the corner club? We seen that he left at 1:30 or 1. I've seen a couple of different time frames. I'm going to go through my let me look at my timeline real quick, and I'm just about finished with it. So this book, Broken Plea, says that he leaves the corner club at 1:51, which would track the original. But then again, in another statement, it says that he left at 1 something earlier. So I'm going to go through that. And we've looked at Peyton Rossi's dropping them off. We've seen 3 guys get out of the car, and then we see another 3 guys get out of the car. So there's already 6 people back at 1127 King before 2 a.m. And I thought Jack DeCour actually got home right minutes before Maddie and Kaylee. Now, I wrote this down thinking last night I was going down a deep rabbit hole, and actually it wasn't that deep. Now get this. If indeed Jack Showalter was telling the truth and he said Maddie and Kaylee got in a silver car with friends, a silver car with friends, and then we have Eric Gower saying he dropped them off, who's telling the truth? We've never seen Maddie and Kaylee being dropped off by Eric Gower. We've never seen Gower dropping off the girls. So drop a 1 if you think Jack Showalter. Let me just ask you this question. Who's remember, I've talked about this before. Who's telling the truth? Here's your options. All right. There you go. Here's your options, 1 or 2. Now, if you think about this, and the reason I'm asking this, you can't have 2 things happening at the same time. Either Jack Showalter saw them get in a silver car. A silver is much different than a dark gray car. Or you have Eric Gower that has all the text message. Remember, he wasn't even on duty per the warrants. So you have to figure out who's more likely telling the truth. You have to do more likely or less likely here. Who is telling the truth? Eric Gower with text messages, or Showalter that is saying they got into a different color car? I mean, what would you say? Go ahead and take the poll. I put it up on the screen. Type a 1 in the chat if you think it's Showalter. Type a 2 if you think it's Gower. 1 for Showalter or 2 for Gower. And I kind of have a feeling we've never seen the record of Eric Gower dropping these girls off. We've never seen any text messages of Gower's. All we have is Showalter saying they got in a silver car. And remember, on the state's witness list was the license plate with a Washington license plate with a silver SUV, a silver car. And keep in mind, we even have more information now. Never knew this before. Eric Gower's car was clean. They had nothing in his car, even though he said that he pulled over to clean his car, that Maddie made a mess and Kaylee was sitting up front. So which one are we more likely to believe? Because we are like at a stalemate here. We've got Showalter at 43% and Eric Gower at 57%. But here's the deal. If something happened in that car, it's not Gower. Why would a silver SUV with Washington license plate be on the evidence list for the state? Which I've always wondered about this. Jack Showalter, the truth. EG lied, so all won. Now we're at 50-50 in this poll, guys. I can't make this up. Now we're at 56%. And y'all might have a difference of opinion. I believe Jack Showalter was telling the truth. I really do believe that. I really do believe Jack Showalter, for some reason, after watching his interview, I really believe Jack Showalter was actually telling the truth. Because in his interview, we see his mom sitting there. Now, I don't know about you, but I would lie without, well, I guess I would tell the truth either way. But people are more likely not to lie when a parent is in the room. And maybe she was holding him to the better part of the deal, like tell the truth so you can clear your name type of thing, in my opinion. I do believe so. But let me ask you this question. If we see Eric Gower pull in and back up and wait before he leaves, I'm wondering, in my opinion, did Gower go to the Grub Truck and the girls saw some friends of theirs and they got in that car instead? Think about this for a minute. If Kaylee saw some friends and were like, hey, I'll get in your car instead, those friends had to have known that they were at the Grub Truck. Those friends had to have eyes and ears on them to get in that car and be at the right place at the right time. Maybe some alleged notorious friends, but still, how did they know that somebody was there? And I believe, in my opinion, that Jack Showalter may have been telling the truth. Even if he was involved, and they caught who was involved. Remember, there is some other case involving him and Connor Chestnut, alleged. But I thought it showed them getting in the car. No, it doesn't show them get in the car. The Grub Truck doesn't show them get in the car. And I've always said, who released that? It looks AI-ish. Who has a silver car? That is a great question. On the state's exhibit list, I'll show you. Silver. And hold on, let me grab it. Silver Ford SUV. Washington plates. And that was also the black Ford truck with the 1A. Remember, I pulled that report. It is not public, but I can tell you, I know who they financed, the credit company, the credit in Idaho. I know exactly who financed this truck. Silver Ford, Washington, have no idea. But Jack Decor said they got in a silver vehicle. Did they not? No, there is a video of Kaylee and Maddie getting into Eric's car from the Grub Truck. Who released that footage? We don't even know if that footage is valid. I will pull that up for you and show you. That looks AI-ish to me. I'm going to pull it up. Hold on one second. That would be at Connor's channel on YouTube. And that is the Grub Truck footage that I believe was officially released by wasn't that Olivia? Wasn't it this video that you guys are talking about that you see that's on Connor's channel? I'll drop the link below so you guys can take a look at this. This is the one I thought that this was AI-ish, 100%. So this is the video that you're talking of, Lori. And let me go a little bit further. There is... Now, I don't know if this... It says 9:45. Oh, that isn't even the right time. This is the one you're talking about. Now, I have pointed several things out about this video that does not make sense. Okay. Number one, why are there no feet under the grub truck? This place was busy that night at this time that the girls were here. There was at least 20 people behind this truck. And in this video footage, we see nothing. We don't see their feet. We don't see any movement. We don't see the bunch of people standing over in front of that back end of the grub truck. All those people go. Did they just vanish into thin air? You don't see any feet under that grub truck. I'm telling you that you see now 2 people over there. Where's all those people that were in that crowd? Where are all those people that were hanging out? You don't see any feet. You don't see any reflections. You see one person, and then allegedly they get into this little Prius. Where did all those other people go? I don't believe this is accurate at all. Where did all those handfuls of people go? Because the original grub truck footage, I'll pull that one up too. Look at this. Let's do a little comparison, because I wonder who put this out there. I believe maybe it was earlier in the night, if they did go to the grub truck footage. I mean, at the time the girls are there, right before they say they leave. I will show you the video. Okay, so here are the girls. There is a bunch of people all around here. So where do all these feet go? Okay, there is that red shirt in this little window here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just see how many people I can catch at this time. 8 people right there. So where did those 8 people go that were standing right in front of those windows? Where did they go? They just magically disappeared. If there was a video of the girls getting into someone's car that drove them home, it should be part of full discovery. Amen. Amen. Another MPD test video. It's weird. The scale of the truck looks so small too. It does look smaller. But like I just showed you, the real video, I mean, even if we go, let me just see something. You've got tons of people standing outside this window. Tons of people standing over there. Tons more people in front of this window. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people standing back there. And then let's see when Maddie and Kaylee walk off. Let's see how many people were standing there. Those people just magically disappear. That's Maddie at the back. I mean, that's Kaylee at the back of the grub truck. And no, there's no people standing in front of it right now. Some people there watching. Yeah, where did all these people just magically disappear to? And I can go look for another view, because I know that's what's somebody's going to say, no, that's not the proper view. Well, we can go and look at another one. Let me see. Let me look at the quad. And this will give you a better example. Yeah, look at all these people here. Look at all these people.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so this is when they start.
Or 26.
Let me find when they are at here. This is a different video. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's still people out in front of that video, out in front of that window. That's when Joe Vito comes up.
Excellent.
There's still people in front of that window over there. That's already at 2 o'clock.
It's amusing, though. It's fun to watch other people dance. do.
So Maddie and Kaylee should be walking over. They're there.
Pork tacos. Oh yeah. How many pork tacos? It's amusing though. It's fun to
So
watch.
let's watch them leave.
know I have
There's
a
people
$6
standing on that side.
Okay, awesome. Thank
So,
you. Let's see rewards.
They're still there.
yeah.
This guy walks across.
Worth it.
Oh, always.
This guy in the hood walks across, okay? He's going to walk right across there. How come you don't see him leaving in this video? He's going to walk right across. How come you don't see him walking by? How come you don't see any of these people walking by? That guy walks by. And where does he go? There's one person back there. There's one leg on that side. There's more people crossing the road. Where are all those other people that are just standing around that you can see in the shadows of the windows? Where did they all go? I'll line those up so you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, where did they freaking go? They just poof vanished? Because there's plenty of people standing around, folks. Plenty. That guy walks by. You don't see him walk by.
Order 81.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That guy in the tank top is going to walk by in a minute.
It's just a charge. It's just a modifier. Hello.
They have Apple Pay.
How's your night going?
So you get what I mean, right? There's people missing from this footage that was put out that looks AI-ish. But I'll digress. Let's go back to this interview because I want to know. I mean, I believe, in my opinion, Showalter is more likely to be telling the truth than Eric Gower. I don't know why, for some reason, Eric Gower to me just seems a little suspicious. Okay? So I think we all kind of agree 60% Showalter is more likely to be telling the truth than Eric Gower. Even though Eric Gower is off duty, I'm more likely to think he's more suspicious because he's off duty, running girls around, handing out airplane bottles. I mean, I can't some days, but let's go back to the interview and let's see what else he says, because obviously he's saying he doesn't know Showalter, and Showalter was the last one to be with the girls before. He says a silver car picks them up.
That's right after we stepped outside of our house just to kind of see what was going on from.
Do you remember anything after you, until you shut your door and went to bed? Do you remember anything else that happened in there?
In my room and
Okay.
also, but
Okay, let's come back to that. You said Kaylee moved into the house where she was at the beginning of the summer, and it was the first time that she'd ever lived there.
yeah.
Then you drew the sketch of the apartment that we talked about, and you identified the other roommates as.
Oh, maybe that's the mysterious roommates being flushed out that some people don't know about. Remember, we were told we don't know exactly who lived there, who was there, and who was officially legally on the lease. So was the downstairs bedroom being rented out? Was the downstairs bedroom actually being rented out? Was someone living there? That's very interesting and telling. That means Eric Gower lied in his interview. What a shocker. Well, I think they caught him because remember he said he was on duty and the warrant came back that said he was clocked out of duty. There are lights in 2 different videos, Phoenix. Okay. Wow. I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. I'm sure people have done it, but I want to look at that a little bit deeper. The Grub Truck, the actual Twitch stream, which I have the full version, and the times, but compared to the AI-ish looking one. I'll do that. Compare the voices and the people that get in the white car, especially with the red backpack, Alyssa, Olivier, and Britton and Stewart. Okay. The black truck is there, the one that went by the next morning, hooting and hollering. I agree about Eric. I just feel I'm usually spot on with people. I just have a gut feeling that Jack Showalter was telling more the truth than Eric Gower. He's a little sus. Just something about him.
Reynolds. But
I'm not sure either.
and that you remember that Kaylee's told you that and were together when the event happened.
Who was with her when the event happened? Why did they redact that? If it was Maddie's name, they wouldn't redact it. Who was Kaylee with that night? Was that the guy she invited home from the bar that we talked about last week? I'm telling you, somebody was there, and I'm wondering if that's the guy who was on the bedroom floor in Maddie's room.
You said Kaylee moved into that to the house where she was at the beginning of the summer, and it was the first time that she'd ever lived there.
Yeah.
Then you drew the sketch of the apartment that we talked about, and you identified the other roommates as.
Now they've redacted 2 names. The other roommates. They've redacted 2 names. Someone else that was somebody renting that extra room and they moved out real quick after all this happened. Is that possible?
Reynolds. But
I'm not sure either.
And that you remember that Kaylee's told you that and were together when the event happened.
We're together when the event happened. Who? Ethan Runge? Well, we know that she was dating Madison Bangerman. I'm sorry. What is his name? Mason. Oh, gosh. Barstow. I've got on the tip of my tongue. Barstow. So Barstow was somewhere else that night. So we've got, it can't be Barstow. Ethan Runge. He's a Delt. I wonder, was he at the corner club? Was he at the corner club? Huh. Yeah, Rochelle. Yeah, we went through this last week. All right. Remember when Ellie walks Hunter out of the house and he says, who lives there? There's 2 extra people that he says lives there. He says the girl there, and he points to a room, and then he points to, yes, he did. But we never got who the other 2 people were. There was another girl that went in with Maddie and Kaylee in the house from the corner club. She rode with them to the corner club also, right, Lori? She rode to the corner club with them, moved out real quick, and left a bloody, broken bracelet. God, who is this mysterious person, and who they are protecting somebody of great importance? And I mean great importance. I don't think it's Sophie. There is a girl, and they block her out. They block her out. I'll show you guys. He said the 2. Law and Crime, you guys know. Law and Crime has the 1. And this has been seen by 1.8 million views still. Now, they blocked this girl out. I thought this was Jenna. Okay, standing right here in the shorts. Law and Crime, right here next to Bethany in the plaid tartan type of pajamas in the blue shirt. Who is this girl right here? I thought that was Jenna who drove up. It looked like a necklace to me, and it did look like Kaylee's necklace. I've showed that before. They've blocked her out. And Hunter points that way, and he asked to tell who lives here. And he says 2 extra girls.
Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone's in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And I saw the guy. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs. We don't know what's going on.
Okay. And Bethany had enough time to grab shoes. All right. So right here, this one girl with the long hair, there's Bethany. There's Josie and Lyndon Beck. Then you have on the left side, Dylan. All right. There is on the blue shorts is Emily. They walk across. He turns back around and you can see all of them standing and huddling over there. But he points to all of the girls, names them out, and that was on somebody else's body cam. But here is one extra person right here. But he clearly says how many girls live there, and there was 6 at the time.
You walked down the street and you saw, you said that you didn't know if it was a of Ethan's or not, but that you identified as, and you think that he was the one that called 911. You asked the officers about what happened, and the first couple officers rebuffed you, and the third officer that you encountered, you told him that you were Kaylee's ex, and he put you in the back of a patrol car for about 45 minutes. And then at some point let you out, and you sat on the curb with and
Was also there.
who?
Girlfriend.
I thought that was her girlfriend.
Oh, shit.
I have been a little bit confused about
Who's hooking up with who?
but is a good friend of, she's the same pledge class as them in Pi.
So when I put girl boyfriend, that's not true. It's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa. Was that the love triangle that Turvey was talking about in Whitcomb? Whoa. Holy moly. Even Jack just divulged that it's not what we think. Who is whose boyfriend / girlfriend? This is interesting.
And who is?
She is one of Xana's best friends. She lived with Xana.
Okay, so that's Emily. That would be Emily. Emily lived with Xana last year. Alleged.
I'm not super close with her, but I know she's friends with him as well.
Where does she live?
I know it's close by. Might be the White's apartments there, but I don't know.
But she
I
was
don't
there
know.
with you that
The
morning.
morning after, yeah.
Okay, and then you said who lived across the street that she came out to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also Ethan's.
Mm-hmm.
And then U of I put out a text announcing that there had been a homicide, and that upset you guys because the cops at that point hadn't even told you that a homicide had occurred. Okay. And then we talked about people that you were concerned that might have done this, and you talked about and we'll talk about both of them further. So try to remember as much detail as you can. When you got home and you hung out with your friends, what time? You said you left the bar at about 1 a.m. What time do you think you got back to your house?
I'm not very sure, but my best guess is a little after 1.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And we went and looked at the 1112 balcony, King Road. We went and looked at that, and you see him get out of the car, which we think it's him, based on Peyton Rossi. Peyton Rossi says that he backs up and he does a kind of like a in there, backs up all the way. We've reviewed that, but there were 2 vehicles that were dropped off at that time frame. One at 1 something, and then one immediately after Maddie and Kaylee allegedly get dropped off. So we've seen that he had to have been in that group of guys that walk across the street. They drop him off and you can see him clearly on the camera. So if that was the 1 a.m. time frame, hold on. I'm just reviewing the video real quick. It's right, isn't it after the truck pulls up into the 1-1? Yeah. Yeah, this is the video. Hold on. This is the video over on Jules' channel too. This was the one where they pull in at 1, a little bit after 1. This is Peyton Rossi. There they are, getting out. You can see them. Well, maybe it's not. They go into the 1119. Let me see if there's another car that pulls in here. There's another car. That's that 103. That's where that guy's walking around. This is where the truck pulls in the next minute. Is there another car that pulls in? And backs out? Hold on 1 second. This car pulls. Isn't that the truck? No, that's the one that pulls in and backs out. Hold on. I thought that was the truck that pulls all the way up. Maybe it's not. Okay, so that's where it's 105. That's where allegedly Jack and the 2 guys, Nate and someone else, gets dropped off. And then Peyton Rossi, yep, turns around. Okay. Okay, yeah. So Jack DeCour says he gets home at 1. All right.
And who all was there exactly?
At my house.
Mm-hmm. That was with you?
Nate and Jack were the only 2 that I spoke to after being home before going to bed.
And what did hanging out with them look like? Were you sitting down on a couch watching TV, or?
Yeah, we kind of have 2 living rooms, one in the main floor, one in the basement, and my bedroom's on the main floor, right next to that living room. And sat on the couches for a few minutes. I think it was probably about 10, 15 minutes between the time I got home from when I went to bed.
Excuse me. Okay, so you'd had some to drink.
Redacted. Come on. Come on. Come on. Is this the 8-minute redaction? Because if it is, I'm going to go fast forward it. I know you guys said it was redacted for a while. Okay. Good idea.
Okay, so a little after 1, 10 to 15 minutes. So what time do you think that you finally went into your bedroom, shut the door, and went to bed?
1:20 would be my best guess.
Did you have any contact with anybody else that you recall after that until you woke up the next morning? Do you remember Kaylee calling you or texting you?
Holy moly. Well, who in the hell did she talk to? Did someone pick up Jack's phone? And that's a great question, Rochelle. You need to go out and see if anybody's canvassing and see if they still had the pumpkins on the deck. Well, they do on this side. Let me turn that off. Let's see if they're on the other side. I don't know if they show the deck. Pumpkins are there on that side. Let's see if they show them on the other side. Yeah, they're there. Right there on the balcony. So there's that. Whew. Okay, so how could he not remember calls or text? Is that like selective remembering, or was it not the Jack we think? Or they already pulled his records, right? They've already pulled his records. This is the 17th. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But they had to have known his digital evidence. They had to have known. This is misinformation on the video, not the original one from the document drop. All the what? What is this? What does that mean? Swedish girl. All this is misinformation on this video, not original one from documentation drop. This was FOIA'd. Yeah, it was FOIA'd and it was released just yesterday. Up. No commentary. It's all real interviews, if you call it an interview.
You have no memory of that. Okay, so last night, they sent me printouts
Bingo.
from your phone.
You said you missed calls.
Yeah, I had when I woke up, this was even after I found out about, like, after everything happened, I noticed my phone.
Okay, so let's do this. He says he got home and he went to bed at 1:20. I'm going to go to this video and I'm going to see. So he got home at 1:05. That's Peyton Rossi pulling off. I'm going to go and I'm going to watch this real quick on 1127. He says he went to bed about 1:20. I'm going to see top left-hand corner is his window. He says about 1:20 he goes to sleep. Let's see if that light goes out. 1:20. Let's see if anything changes on this house. Because I don't sleep with the lights on. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't. 1:22. 1:26. Light still on. 1:28. 1:30-ish. All right. So about 1:30-ish. Let's see if the light, I saw it go out, but I'm going to play it so you guys can see it go out. Top left-hand corner, second window, light just went out. Light just went out. So that's about 1:30, 50-ish. Let me go back a little. When does that light go out? One. That's weird because then that girl walks over that way towards the house. The 1127. Is that Zoe? Is that Adam's girlfriend? 1:30. What time did I say that light went out? Maybe it went out earlier. Hold on. He says he went to bed at 1. Did the light go out earlier? 1:13, the light's on. 1:14, the light goes off. So that's 1:13. 1:13. Wonder if that girl walked over to his house. 113:40. That light went off. 113. After this car pulls up, these people walk into the house. That light goes off. 113:40. Let me write that down. 113:40 for his statement. But he said he went to bed about 1:30. So what starts happening after 1:30? I wonder if somebody got his phone. I wonder if that's possible that somebody used his phone. Who did Kaylee talk to? Now this light goes back on and then it goes back off at 1:30:50. 1:30 and 50. That's interesting. Why does this light go on and off? All right, I'm going to go back and look at that video, but let's listen to him finish what he's saying. No, he didn't get home minutes after Kaylee. He didn't. He got home. He's got his phone right in front of him. He's got the evidence. He was home. He was home earlier than you guys think. And I know a lot of people put out there he got home minutes before, double checked, looked around, found out what room he lived in. His light goes off. I think JD's pretty much telling the truth. So whoever got that he arrived just before Maddie, before Kaylee, not possible. So this detective is reviewing his phone records as he's speaking. So I don't know how he can be two places at once, because that wasn't who Maddie and Kaylee were arguing with at Corner Club. That was definitely not Jack Decor. So do a little bit more research. Jack was home way earlier than you guys think. All right. The girls start frantic and trying to call him to answer the phone, and before they were never heard again. No, it was 2:50. Hold on a minute. 2:53. 2:53 was the last phone call. But here's the deal. If you're not looking at the evidence pictures, you're going to miss a lot. In the ISP drop 4 of the documents, Maddie's cell phone is found on her nightstand table. Okay? Kaylee's phone is found underneath Maddie's bed. And I'm going to go over this in full detail tomorrow. There's a reason that it was placed there. Kaylee's phone was underneath Maddie's bed, and no one knew where Kaylee's phone was until they retrieve it into evidence, which is huge. That is one key little bit of evidence that proves Kaylee was alive. Kaylee, in my humble opinion, put her phone underneath Maddie's bed. No one could find it. Okay? There's way more information if you're looking at the evidence, you're reading all the documents, you're looking at Turvey's interview, you're looking at Whitcomb's book. There's little nuggets of information all around, and something else I'm going to let you in on tomorrow. Fireball for today.
Do you remember Kaylee calling you or texting you? You have no memory of that. Okay, so last night they sent me printouts from your phone.
You said you missed calls.
Yeah, I had, when I woke up, this was even after I found out about, like after everything happened, I noticed my phone had, I think, 4 missed FaceTime calls from Kaylee and 3 missed calls from Maddie, along with, I think, 2 more missed calls from Kaylee, so 7 calls from Kaylee and 3 from Maddie.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. How many?
7 missed calls from Kaylee and 3 from Maddie. 4 of Kaylee's were a FaceTime.
7 from Kaylee and 3 from Maddie.
Yeah.
And which 4 of the calls from Kaylee were FaceTime calls. Got it. And none of them from Maddie were FaceTime? They were all just normal calls?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that normal for y'all to communicate via FaceTime or phone, or what's the preferred method?
Kaylee would call me off the hook quite often. It's not normal for Maddie just to call me, especially 3 times in the middle of the night. But yeah, I mean, Kaylee has called me in the past when like she's like walking home and she's just like feels like she's being followed or something. She'll just like give me a call and just like want to have someone on the phone.
Okay. Did you and Kaylee have any sort of an argument the night before at the corner club? Was there any dispute? Were you upset? Okay. So I want to pull these out. And there's 2 sets of records here. There's one, our phone calls coming in from Kaylee, and one, our text messages coming in from Kaylee. These are all incoming to your phone. And so I point your attention to this one, which is 11/13/2022 at 2:26 a.m. And there's a call it's 16.88 minutes. So almost 17 minutes in duration, which was an answered call. Do you recall that call?
I do not. Was it a call from her?
Yeah, it's
What time was that?
Now that sounded like a lawyer in the background. What time was that? So Jack is saying that he went to bed at 1:30. So he's already an hour into sleeping when this 2:26 call is said to be JD calls Kaylee. Could somebody else be using his phone?
That's the very top one. It says it was at 2:26. It was an answered telephone call, and it went on for almost 17 minutes. So do you recall that phone call?
I do not. Is there audio from that?
I doubt it, but I don't know. This is just, they just emailed this to me and said, ask him about this. So.
Does it say if it was FaceTime or if it was a regular phone call? Can you tell?
Yeah, it says, if you look here, it says.
Again, Jack and the detective just confirmed that he got home at about 1:05. We just saw it on video. We see him get out of the car with Peyton Rossi. That is Peyton Rossi's vehicle, by the way. And Peyton Rossi does say when he drops Jack off. If you've been watching my streams for a little while, we went all over those. Now, if you are following, Jack and the detective has just confirmed that they met on a separate occasion. He's reviewing the notes, he's noting the times, and he asked him again, what time did you get home from the club? 1:05. That means he left way before Maddie and Kaylee left, came back, had a few drinks from 1:05 to whenever, goes to bed at 1:30, asleep, snuckered out. And remember, he said he had a few drinks with his friends that were there, and he probably had more than he should have. And he was zonked out by 1:30. So did his friends snucker him up and put him in bed and use his phone? Is that a possibility? I would say more likely yes. Okay? More likely yes. If Jack D is telling the truth, his timeline, the detectives already know. And they're confirming the timeline with him. He was home way before Maddie was home. Maddie and Kaylee.
If it's a FaceTime, it says FaceTime. And if it's just a phone call, it says just phone. So it looks like it was a phone call. It was answered. 2:26 went on for that many seconds.
So it was a phone call. It was not a FaceTime. Anybody can make a call and anybody could pick up and talk to Kaylee.
I do remember seeing that on my phone, but I do not remember answering nor.
So let me ask let me ask you again. Have you ever had an experience where after drinking you've had a phone call or you've done something or went somewhere and you didn't remember it until the next day and you realized that this had happened, but you didn't really remember it?
No, I've never had that.
Dude, that's leading. Are they trying to get him to admit that he did this? That is so leading. That is evil. This is exactly what happened to Chris Tapp. They got him believing that, man, I got drunk and I went to sleep and now I could possibly be sleepwalking or doing something nefarious. And I could have committed this crime. Is that what they are doing? Idaho Falls police did this to Chris Tapp. It's not unusual to back him in a corner and get him to start thinking, oh my God, I did this. That is psychological BS. I'm calling it out for what it is right now. Have you ever done this and you never remembered? That is how they get you into a corner, folks, and blame you for something that you may have not done. They already have his phone records. They know that his phone called Kaylee's, but they could never prove it was Jack on the phone with Kaylee. I don't think it was. If his buddies and them came home and got him all snookered up because they knew the 2:00 hour was coming and they needed to make some phone calls and blame this on him, because we know this was not one lone person that did this. I don't think JD could have done this on his own. We know that it was a gang of people in the middle of the road now that did this.
So this phone call, that's what I'm trying to get at, is could you have answered the call and maybe didn't really have a conversation and just set the phone down and it went on until Kaylee or somebody hung up or you hung up? I mean, how do we explain this, I guess is what I'm asking.
How you just explained is my best guess of what went happen. Or I thought it was like an alarm or something and just smashed my side button on my phone. I'm not sure.
Now, okay, now I have a question. Now I have a doubt. How could he say he smashed his side button if he was asleep? How does that happen? How does that happen? Has anybody slept and hits their side button on their phone? Does he sleep with the phone in the bed? Does he sleep with it next to him on the nightstand like most people do? How could he hit the side button if he's sleeping? How? That really makes me wonder now. Wow. And how often does he hit the side button if he's sleeping? And I'll tell you, y'all know this, right? Digital forensics will tell them if he hit that side button. Digital forensics will tell the detectives if he hit the side button. That makes me just laugh because they have all this information. Let's listen.
And then the second group here are text messages. Let's go back a few days.
Back a few days?
So, do you remember receiving a text message from her in the early morning hours of Sunday, the 13th?
I saw the text at the same time I saw the missed calls.
The next morning?
Correct.
Okay, so this shows, and what was the subject matter contents of that text that you recall?
She had my vape, and she told me I could come get it.
Okay, and I show that you read that message at
Okay, there you have it. They have the details. I mean, very specific digital evidence. They have the details because it shows that he read that message. If you've watched any of my past streams, we have gone over Dylan's exact read message when she read the message. She was up at 4 something and she read that message. Now, this is very interesting that he says, we know you read that message. They know and they can drill right down and ask him the hard questions. Okay? So they would know that he already may have hit the side button.
12:44 p.m. on the 13th. So just after noon the next day. Is that right?
That's when I saw the phone calls too.
Okay. All right.
So the detective just confirmed he read the message at 11:40. What did he say? 12:44 p.m. So he did in fact miss all those messages that night. He was more likely to be asleep than awake and knowing what was happening. Me too, design rhythm. Me too.
Okay. Let's go back. Anything else you want to cover? Okay.
Here's the deal. They would know he was lying. And if they knew he was lying about not getting that message, until the next day after all this had happened, they would have definitely dug harder and deeper and booked him and charged him with this murder. If they knew he was lying about little digital evidence, they would have something more serious to go on. If you think about it, the blood and the possible firearm residue found in his apartment, we still don't even have answers on that. Yes, folks, there was blood in the forensic documents at his apartment, in the hallway and in the kitchen, and possible firearm residue. Folks, who was in his apartment hallway, in his kitchen, that had this? Just really pisses me off and makes me a little bit more spicy. Was it the guest that was staying with them? Was it a relative, a family, a friend? Who was staying in his place at 1127 that had possible blood on them and possible firearm residue? Who was it? If it wasn't him, who was it? Those are answers we still don't know to this day, even though we know now something happened in this street. The reflection of the windows at 1119 prove it. The new footage from Birdie proves it. The underwear in the street. Everybody's sticking to the same script. It was a quiet night in Moscow, folks. Oh no, we didn't hear the gunshot. We didn't hear that. We heard it was cocaine. We heard it was this. We heard it was that. A murder-suicide. Folks, it's right in front of our faces. Right there in front of 1122 and the Browns, probably in that little alcove area, something went down. It was a gang of people. How come we still don't know that evidence today? The forensic evidence, whose blood was in their apartment, and was it firearm residue? Just like, was it firearm residue in Maddie's room?
I'm going to continue focusing on you a little bit here.
Now it's redacted. I'm going to focus on you a little bit more. Redacted. Is this the 8-minute redaction? I think so. Someone warned us, so I'm going to go forward a little bit more.
I don't own any hunting knives, no military knives.
Hold on. Here we go. That was a long redaction. No one ever mentions the visiting football. Yeah, they talked about that a long time ago. Visiting.
Did you do this? You did not do this.
I did not do this.
Is it possible that you did this and you don't remember because you were drunk? When you woke up the next day, were there any signs on your body? Was there blood on your body, blood on your clothes, anything like that? Okay. Do you have any weapons, or specifically knives, do you have any knives? Do you own any knives?
Pocket knives.
Do you own any hunting knives or fixed blade knives?
I'm not sure what that means.
A knife that doesn't fold, like a...
No.
No. You do not own any hunting knives? No military knives?
No.
Okay. Do any of your roommates own any knives like that?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. So nobody has like a Rambo kind of survival knife in a sheath?
No.
Okay. And when we talk to your roommates, they're not going to say that, oh yeah, he had this knife. We've seen it before. Okay.
Were you aware of anyone in the home that owned a hunting knife or fixed blade knife, or their weapons in the home?
The only thing my homies speak of.
No, I'm talking the home where the murders occurred, in Kaylee and Madison and Zana's home.
No, I mean, none of them are hunters or anything like that. I didn't see anything in there that would be like that.
So somebody couldn't have come in and seen like, oh, here's a knife. Like they wouldn't have had any weapons laying around the house.
A kitchen knife, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with Ethan. When did you first become aware that Ethan was in this orbit of people?
I knew Xana had a boyfriend last year, but I never knew who he was really until he moved in to the house that he lives in, or until Xana did.
But he wasn't living there, right? He was still living his.
Yeah.
But he was coming over a lot.
I think he stayed there most nights.
Okay. So you said that he parked there commonly.
Okay, so yesterday on my live, if you didn't see it, someone's saying, did you see Bronx Tales? Bronx Tales. Who is Bronx Tales? YouTube. Who is Bronx? No, who is? Am I saying it right? BRONX Tales. Who is Bronx Tales? YouTube. Is that a channel? YouTube Bronx Tales. Let me see. Am I spelling it wrong? Is it all one word? Let me put in IDAHO4. Maybe it'll pop up. I'm telling you guys, I don't really watch a lot of other creators, okay? The only person that I really watched and I was on live with in the beginning was Birdie, and that was on TikTok until we moved over to YouTube. So if there's... Let me just take a look. Oh, the blonde girl. Okay, hold on. She made a video. She made a video of behind. And let me just see something. Susie Littleby, when did she make the video? I have no idea. Bronx Tales. I found it. Okay, Bronx Tales True Crime. Okay, hold on. Several interviews. They don't want to talk to the media because they'd end up harassing it. Tales, not tails. Okay. Fresh squeezed lemonade all over my TV. Sorry. Okay, so she found stickers underneath the girl tapestry in Xana's room. Okay, so yesterday, ironically, someone asked me if that was Ethan's leg in the mirror. And ironically, let me share this with you. This is the picture that I had found that had these two little, I don't know, it looks like maybe they photoshopped or something in here in this room. Look at Xana's tapestry. I'm looking at it right here. It's on the screen. Okay. Now, in the picture, and this might get graphic, so I just want to give everybody a fair warning if you're watching this right now. They redacted this area in the mirror of the tapestry. So when we went back and looked, not only is there possibly the redaction obviously up here, but the redaction in the mirror when we see maybe perhaps someone's leg, which they look like ballistic holes, and BE was marked on the official ISP notes. So they didn't just forget to redact that they redacted in the mirror. They forgot and didn't redact it when we went back to look at the tapestry. So someone said that looked like Ethan's leg in the mirror. We zoomed in, and then that is when I noticed that they didn't redact this right here. Yeah, it looks like an evidence marker, the ballistic too. So we kind of figured that one out. right here in this. They redact it here. They redacted his body. They forget to redact his leg in one of these pictures. Just a fair warning, guys. They forget to redact it in one of these pictures, and we see it right somewhere in there, unless it was the blanket. And then they redact it in the mirror, but they don't redact it when they're taking a picture of it. So I don't know what the heck that they forgot to redact this area. You can see they didn't redact it in the actual pictures. So obviously there's more hiding. Her dog is Bronx. He's like a mascot. How cute. I love fur babies. You guys know that. All right, let's finish listening to this interview because interesting. Let's stay on track, folks. Let's stay on track.
When did that start?
When the school year started, because Xana lived in the house for the last month or so.
Don't tell me it's redacted.
But yeah, I never really even know who Ethan was until the beginning of the school year when I would see him at their house with Xana.
Did you have occasion to have a conversation with him?
Yeah, I would say hi to him every time I saw him, but I think our only like real conversation was the time we exchanged Snapchats.
What was that about?
I don't remember the conversation. I just remember kind of meeting him and chatting up with him for a minute, and then getting a Snapchat.
What kind of impression did you get of him as a person?
Seems like a really nice kid. Nice to me right off the bat. Pretty outgoing. Yeah, similar personality to Xana.
How so?
Xana's just very loud, outgoing. Just had probably more friends than anyone else I know. Just could not like her.
And you refer to him as a kid. I just find that interesting because you're a very young man yourself. Was he like? Is that an indication of just like his attitude, or just because he was not a small guy, as I understand? He was.
No, he's not. I mean, he's a freshman, and I don't know if that's why I said that, but
Yeah. Okay. I'm just
there's
curious.
a reason.
That makes sense. Did you ever know him to have any problems with other people?
No.
Any problems with?
I've never heard of anything, no.
Did Xana have any ex-boyfriends that were bothered by him?
I don't know if any ex-boyfriend of Xana's.
Wasn't it Melaine? Who was Xana's ex-boyfriend?
I do remember over the summer, Xana invited Kaylee and I to go on his boat, I think. But I was working and I couldn't make it.
Is that this?
I assume so, yeah. Or, I don't know. Further north.
Did Kaylee go on that trip?
Oh, shoot. Are you serious, Rolo?
You said that the next morning when you went out that his brother came over. Was his brother also?
I don't think so, just because I didn't recognize him. I think he's a part of Greek life, but I don't know.
How did you know it was his brother?
He kind of looks like him, and so I just didn't know him at all.
Anything else about Ethan that you can think of?
I don't think so.
Okay. No, and of course it's asked. No, anybody you think of or any knowledge, anybody that want to hurt him.
Like I said, I wasn't super involved with him or his friends. So no, I didn't really know much about him or anything.
Okay. You haven't heard anything after all this because you've been very active trying to work through this yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard any rumblings or have you heard anything from anybody else of somebody that didn't like him?
No, I haven't.
Okay, let's talk about Xana. How long have you known her?
I've known of her since high school. I remember picking Kaylee up from a house party at her house in high school once.
Speaking of high school, what would make Maddie, Kaylee, and Jack Decor move in with Olivia, Kaylee's sister, in high school, folks? What was going on in the family dynamics that Kaylee, Maddie, and Jack would all move in with Kaylee's older sister, Olivia? I've often wondered why all three of them would leave their families and move in with Kaylee's sister. I mean, don't you just find that odd? They were all in high school. It's like they all wanted to be emancipated. They all wanted to get away from home. What is the dynamics that were happening? Dylan says her high school friend Kai was dating her BF Bethany, and he dated Xana before he had a beef with Ethan because he was jealous of Ethan and Xana's relationship. Interesting. I didn't know that either. But that would make sense. That would make sense. So, I mean, they've all known each other for quite some time.
Kaylee actually got
A scholarship to WSU. I've often wondered if Kaylee went to WSU first.
Are you a police officer?
Yeah, you're a college. I don't do college jobs.
I didn't go to a normal college.
Kaylee got.
Yeah. I got pulled over after leaving the party, and I think someone was hiding around the corner and saw that Kaylee left the party and pulled me over.
Oh, they pulled you over and she was in the car with you. Okay. Where was her house where was this happening?
Now, Kaylee did have a underage drinking ticket, so I don't know if they were laughing about college. And in the repository, it did show that even Madison had one too. So let me see if they left them in there. I'm wondering if they scrubbed them, but let me just take a peek because I have copies. I'm wondering if maybe, let's just see. All right, let's just see if they left them in the repository. Yeah, absolutely. They left them in there. So here is Kaylee's, an infraction, alcoholic beverage under 21, and that was in 2020 in the summer. So that was underage drinking, pled not guilty, judgment of dismissal. She went to victims panel, did assert, and paid the fine. So, yeah, there's that. And then the probate. After they got the death certificates, which was this last year, October of 25, the week later, they filed for the estate. That would be her parents. And they filed for the estate just a week after they got her death certificate. 3 years to get people's death certificate, folks. 3+ years. Can you believe that? That blows my mind. And then it was Steve A. Goncalves who filed it and is listed as obviously the estate. And it was granted on November 3rd, 2025. So odd that they had to wait all that time to give a death certificate because it was pending. And it's just so odd. They had to have a sentencing for it, obviously. And they got their person. They got the person sentenced and they gave them their death certs. Just blows my mind.
When did you first, I mean, you knew of her or you picked Kaylee up at her house one time. When did you first, start seeing her or talking to her, having contact with her?
Probably just through like party.
Now, if they were all, and you bring up a very good point here. If you bring up, Xana went to high school with Kaylee and Jack. I thought she lived in a different state. No, Xana actually graduated, and I'll show you. I'll show you. Give me 1 second. Her graduation is right here. Now, Xana was, I guess, living with family members. Her dad lived in Arizona, but she graduated. Hold on a minute. Where is it? That's, here it is. No, that's Jazzy's. Hold on. Here it is. She graduated right here. This was her graduation. And let me just see. I went too far. Sorry. That was her graduation. She graduated in Idaho, folks. That was in 2020. You can go and look at her other pictures, but yep, she actually graduated in Idaho. So it wasn't out of state.
Maddie was good friends with her.
In high school or college?
College. I can't remember like the first time ever meeting her, but we knew of each other for a while. Then really only like we're friends really. And once Kaylee and Jen moved in together.
Had Xana been a roommate of Kaylee's before this year?
No.
And Kaylee hadn't lived in that house before until this year?
The only one who lived there last year is Maddie.
Maddie had lived in that house last year.
Correct. Verified.
And how did that go? I mean, was each room, do you know, if you know, was each room sublet individually, or was it rented out by one person who then collected rent from other people, or how'd that work at that house?
And yes, absolutely. Great question. She actually completed her high school graduation from Post Falls High School. That was Xana. She graduated from Post Falls High School. That's where I've seen her picture before, guys. Right here. Right here. I've seen that picture before, if you can see it right there, Post Falls. Yeah, Post Falls High School. Then she went to the U of I. So there you go. Hey, see? Live dig, questions answered, legit checked out, all good to go.
I know it's through
Yes.
the same property management as the one I read through. I actually remember talking to Kaylee about this over summer because she wanted to build her credit. So
Exactly. Exactly. If you guys were on my stream the other day, I showed the video of Kaylee saying she was unable to student teach. And I went down this whole thing explaining why somebody would not be able to student teach. And there it is right there, factually. He said Kaylee was trying to build up her credit. She had to take 2 of her grandmothers to go look at a vehicle. Yes, she had stable employment at the time. She'd only had 2 payments, 2 statements, 2 pay stubs, and she wanted to buy the car. The only way she would have bought that car is to be able to take her grandmother's in there, and that is part of the registration question that we had on the rover. He just said it himself. She wanted to go ahead and build her credit. So everyone that just heard that, that is another validation of something that we talked about the other day that I explained. She couldn't student teach because her background and her credit may have not lined up, and even that she may have not had the experience needed to student teach. So she had to change her major. All right. Verified.
And just have all the girls pay her. I don't believe that ended up happening. I think they all paid rent separately.
Does cater to college students? Is that the?
I think that's most of their clientele, yeah.
So they rent you a room if you're a college student up there off campus.
Yeah. I think they actually mostly houses. I think Palouse Properties does mostly apartment complexes. But.
So, okay. Houses.
Team Idaho does houses. No, I didn't get to read your last post. Are you mean comments? Julia XOXO or Julia Love? I would like to see it. Let me just take a look, Julia. Did you post on your channel or was it a comment? Just comment post or comment comment. Julia XOXO. Let me see. Couldn't you have an easier screen name? Just kidding. E6I. Oh, hold on a minute. All right. Comments? I have a certain amount of poster credits. Where did you find this information? I didn't see it. All right, let's get back to the audio and then you can comment. Steve G, COVID, payback. Yeah. Is that the cryptocurrency? Hex? Isn't Julia the name of Kaylee's half-sister? I thought that was Samantha. Does she have another half-sister? I need someone to find the interview with her employer. Saw it when docs were coming out. Not the other interviews. Was wiped right away. Said Kaylee was not offered a full-time job yet. Interesting. Was she doing contract work in the marketing area? Because when they pulled the warrants for her laptop with Extreme Networks, they needed to go to Harvard. Harvard had the passcodes to that laptop. Was she working as a contractor? That is interesting. I'll try to find something. I'll definitely try to find something. Wow. So many things are popping forward. Yeah, Samantha Nelson. All right, let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this.
Do you know where did Kaylee live before she lived there? Like last year, where'd she live?
She lived in the Whites.
In these apartments?
She lived in the White.
The front of the building.
Okay, and where'd she live before that? In the house.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to have to make a clown emoji and a little song to go with the trolling. Remember, if you are trolling, keep...
Shoot away the trolls, shoot, shoot, shoot. No room for grumbles, only sunny views. Gonna flick them away like glitter in the air. Positive vibes, no time for the despair. Yeah, just
All right, so that gave me a moment to drink some water, but I'm going to make a clown one with the circus because I know that many of you are not in here trolling. Usually the trolls will come out and spam. I'm going to make an emoji for trolling. For a clown and spam, okay? So if you're spamming, you're going to get spanked. If you're a clown, you're going to get honked. If you're a troll, you're going to get the troll song. So let's keep the chat classy, people, okay? We pride ourselves in being a very small, tight-knit community with being protected. My mods are looking out for all of that stuff. So let's just be classy. I respect what my mods tell me. It's a two-way street. Let's just remember to be a little bit classy in here. We're not looking for drama. We're not looking for clicks, likes, and views. We're looking for truth.
Who do you think Kaylee's best friend is?
Maddie.
Does she have other friends that were similarly close, or was Maddie head and shoulders her best friend?
It's really not even close at all.
Not even close at all.
Maddie was like a part of Kaylee's family.
I wonder if someone was jealous of Maddie and Kaylee's relationship. What do you guys think? Was somebody jealous? Wow, I didn't even think about that. Was someone... Let's take a poll. All right. Sorry, I'm typing this out as fast as I can. All right. I've got a little cover that's coming over to, what are they called? Like a skin? A little skin. And to go over the keyboard so you can't hear all that clickety clacking. I bet you guys will be happy about that one, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show this on the screen. Let's do this. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hold on. Can you all see that on the screen? 1 for yes, 2 for no. All right. Let's see kind of what percentage that we think. Do you think another woman was jealous of Maddie and Kaylee's relationship? Type 1 or 2 in chat. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I mean, the question that the detective Van Leuven just asked JD was pretty hot. It was pretty hot. Hands down, Maddie was Kaylee's best friend. But remember, Maddie was going to go to Europe with another girl, right? Kaylee was going to go to Europe with another girl. Kaylee was not in the same sorority that Maddie was. There was a little bit of rift. They grew apart for a little while. But then this last year, they were going to have a bombshell senior year. They were going to spend time together before they moved on with their lives. Was there another? 100% is saying yes. I've not got any 2s, guys. I am shocked. 100% of you say yes. I didn't ask who, but I'm sure you guys could probably put a little bit of background in there, right? I'm sure you can put insane jealousy. Wow. Wow. That just a whole different feel. Whole different feel to what that detective just asked Jack, right? Wow. That blows my mind. Jeez.
What was Maddie's take on you and Kaylee?
Redacted. Jeez. I'm gonna have to make something that says sorry, redacted. Is this long redacted? Jeez. Is this another 8-minute redacted? Redacted, redacted, redacted. Y'all, my kids are so funny. We're being redacted right now until it comes back on. I'm on here. I'm not looking at my text, and I'm watching my mod chat. And my daughter writes on a whiteboard, opens my door, puts the whiteboard inside here, and basically says, "I didn't get your email. Can you please resend it?" It shuts the door and leaves the whiteboard in here. That is freaking hilarious. Oh, that is hilarious. Okay, so this is redacted. I'm waiting for it to come back up. This is a long redaction, folks. Dang. Okay, here we go. Oh, too funny.
Then on the 11th, Friday, she sends you a message, says, "Call me," at 10:05 p.m. And then the next day at 3 in the afternoon, she says, "Jack, we share a dog. Can you please answer the phone?" Why aren't you answering the phone?
I'm not sure. Was I at work at that time?
I don't know.
I did work Friday night, but I didn't know if that's when you said that one.
Yeah, 11. No, this was the day before. It's Friday. Did you work on Friday too?
I work Friday, Saturday. Usually Thursday, Friday, Saturdays.
Okay. You sent her a message later that night, 11:35. Can I come over on Friday? Did you go over there on Friday?
I didn't. I remember she called me while I was at work, and I picked up because I was just slowed down at that point. And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm at work." She said, "You should come over." And I said, "Okay, I think I'll be off in about 20 minutes." And I got off work, I drove home, and that's when I texted her and asked if I can come over.
Friday.
And then she said no, and I believe that I called her. She just said it's not a good idea, because I hadn't come over really since we broke up.
What does that mean? What does come over mean?
Just kind of been talking a lot the last week, and yeah, she I guess changed her mind. I don't know if she's just seen if I would come over if she asked or what, but
It sounds like it kind of wasn't over, right? Is that what he's kind of getting to? Like maybe they weren't sure if it was calling it off for good, or sound like they were on a date. Yeah, it sounds like maybe she was on a date, or she was in the middle of having feelings for someone else, perhaps. That's a possibility too. But I mean, it sounds like Kaylee was calling all the shots. Kaylee was ready to move on. Is that possible? Kaylee would break up to date. Oh, really? I didn't even think about that, Sarah. So anytime she wanted to date someone else, that she would break up with him. I mean, they'd been get together since high school, right? that thought probably never crossed my mind. I thought they broke and it was a good break. Obviously, they were broken up all for summer, and it was said that she was dating someone else. And then the reports came out, and she was dating actually 2 people, maybe, exploring. I mean, believe me, when you're with somebody that long, I mean, my high school sweetheart and I dated for 6 years. And I went off into the military, and I was still single, and I was waiting to come home and to see if we were going to end up going back to Japan together. And that didn't happen either. So, and he was already dating other people, so I had moved on. But I get it. I mean, if you're not sure that you're going to break up, Maddie apparently told Adam was a confidential informant. What? Kaylee, and told her was telling cops who killed Thompson Lindo was guys in his fraternity. So, yeah, I don't know about all that. I know that Kaylee was into true crime, and she allegedly saw somebody who was missing, made a report, possibly. But that whole story that I gave you in validation and verified facts, Hudson Lindo, in fact, was pulled over, and I showed you his records, was pulled over, charged with possession, charged with a couple of other things, and then walked away with no charges, no sentencing, nothing. And I think that perhaps, allegedly, Hudson Lindo was a potential informant. Hudson Lindo was a potential informant. And if that's what happened and the frats did that to him, what makes you think that they weren't going to do it to Ethan if Ethan knew what happened to Hudson and they were going to say something about it? And Kaylee was going to say, they all decided we've had enough of this. They all got out of Greek life and they were going to turn them in. Think about it. And if anybody caught wind of what was happening, sure, they all took care of the problem, right? We're not saying that this was cartel. We're just saying that if that was possible, and Bangerman, the guy who Xana dated, got popped for, serious drugs in Caldwell, Idaho. He was from that area too. So there could have been tons of informants that were from outside of that area, folks. Think about it. Even possible police people that were brought in from other areas that were probably undercover, that were probably of some joint task force sent to Moscow to find out what was going on. There was a much bigger operation going on. Much bigger. Huge. All right? So any of these potential guys could be informants. Any.
And then it looks like 4 o'clock on the 12th. So this must have been while you were at work. If I got my times right. You send her a text. Do you recall that? Did she respond to that? No. What was happening that made you send her that text while you were at work?
Maybe he was working, not ignoring her. Is this redacted for a long time? Let me look. Let me fast forward this. So I hate redacted.
No, I'm not trying to interrupt you at all. My question is, where do you think she was in your relationship? Do you think she had firmly decided that this is going to end, or do you think that she had opened this up to where you were going to get back together, or she just was undecided?
I can tell by the way she acted around me, and just talked to me on the phone and over text that there's obviously still something there, and that she had at least curiosity about getting back together.
Second thoughts. And redacted again. Here we go. So let me just say this. For somebody being jerked by the chain, if you want to say that, or being led on that maybe they were going to get back together. This guy was having a really hard time accepting this breakup. I mean, here you are with somebody thinking you're going to be with them forever, or at least to see how you can have a life together. And, sometimes it's not easy to have that break with your high school sweetheart. I've been through it, right? But sometimes you need to just move on and you need to try different things. And then if that's not what you want, then you eventually get back together and you make things work out, or you don't get back together and you move on and move away and get married. Hold on. What does it say? Okay, I sent you a copy, honey. I sent you a copy. Call her now, and I sent you the copy. Okay, sorry, guys. She tries to give me the whiteboard again. But it's very difficult to move away from somebody that you're comfortable with, that accepts you, even your good and your bad. So if she was misleading him, thinking, hey, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't break up. Maybe we should try this. Maybe there are two ships passing in the night. But don't string somebody on, because this guy had a really hard time during this breakup. You see the documents that we have got. Oh, I'm going to get spicy now. We've seen the documents. This guy was having a mental crisis. I feel for people who have their heart and everything invested in a relationship and it just gets pulled out from underneath them. I get it. I've been on both sides, folks. Okay? I'm not some spring chicken. I'm not some college girl. I've had a fiance die on me. Okay? Not by their own doing, but in the military. It was combat. But I will say this. It took me almost 30 years to get over that. 30 years. 30 years. Well, I raised our child. He's not walking the planet, folks. 30 years. But I will say this. If he was having a mental health crisis and people were there to help support him, Kaylee messing with his mind was not helping him. Now, I don't think JD did this. I don't think he was capable of doing something this horrible, awful. I've seen with my own two eyes what a gang killing looks like. This is just from experience. Okay? You get a bunch of military people together from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life and all different ethnicities, all different cultures, and you get them all together and they find one common thing that they don't like about someone. That is a gang killing. And this, in my humble opinion, is what happened with these four. And I will die on that hill. And I'll get a little spicy over the IDAHO4 case. But everyone found something in common with these four. They didn't like them and they got rid of the problems. I'm not saying that I don't even know why this has become the norm. The perpetrators who did this should be held accountable. You can't stab someone that many times as they had those wounds in a 7-minute span. But at least 10 or 15 people could do that type of thing. 10 or 15 people, and I'm going to preach it. Because if JD needed help, he should have had the support around him. And I believe when SG says, we made sure, we stripped him down, we looked at him, we asked him. Listen to the way he responds when the cop says, "Did you kill them?" No. I can't even believe that they would even think that this kid was able to do something like this. The incisions on Ethan and Maddie's face. Who would make an incision on somebody's nose? Who would do that kind of shit? Who would make an incision above Ethan's knee knowing he's an athlete? If he would ever survive any type of attack, he would never walk again. His leg would have been amputated. Ethan was a Chad. All the girls were interested in him. They were free-loving, free-spirited, living their best lives. And I bet JD was trying to work. I mean, think about it. JD moved out when he was in high school. Of course he was going to have to work. He wasn't asking for mom and dad to pay his way. Kaylee wasn't asking for it. Surely Maddie was working hard to pay her debt or her bills. And so was Xana. These were hard-working individuals taking care of business up against a bunch of privileged, snotty individuals. I'm just going to say it. Nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. Total different classes. Total different. I would be like, massive respect you doing it on your own. Shoot, I was a non-traditional student when I went to college. That means I was a single mom with 3 kids, making all the ends meet and taking myself to college after the military. This kid should have had more support. Should have. Let's see if we can get through this redacted part. Redacted. There's a lot of redactions, guys.
So you said earlier, Kaylee has a bright future ahead of her, or a big future, I think you said. What does that mean? Why do you say that?
She had just purchased. Sorry.
Cowards, they were. It had to have been personal. It had to be personal. Oh, I just...
She obviously just got her new car. She had a 6-figure job lined up.
He's crying.
Right out of school. She was planning, she had an apartment lined up in Austin. She was going to take our dog and, I don't know, basically just kind of start a whole life by herself.
And that never happened.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
God.
That sounds terrible.
Jeez.
The new car, how is she paying for that?
She makes good money because she's currently interning with the company that she is going to work for. And
that's Extreme something or other?
Extreme Networks, yeah.
That's a good company, by the way.
And she was a really good student. I think she had higher than a 4.0, so she had a lot of financial aid that allowed her to use the money that she got from working as kind of spending money or investing money.
Yeah, smart.
So yeah, she had wanted a new car for a while. Hers had been giving her problems. And she went home for a week.
Yeah, interns can make very good money.
I don't know if she ended up financially helping her or not, but they spent all week. Last week, Kaylee texted me and called me 100 times about asking my opinion on what car she should get. Because I helped her do her car shopping from her previous car.
Were you happy for her, or were you frustrated that she seemed to be moving on?
I was happy for her.
He could have been both. Happy she was starting a life, getting what she wanted, making her dreams come true. But most of these jobs over at networking companies are paid internships. She had pay stubs that was verified, that was validated. Um,
Her taking the dog, is that something you agreed to?
Yeah. She was the one who wanted a dog, but at the time she lived in the White's apartments, and they're not allowed to have any dogs there, so I kind of raised the dog in my house last year. And I told her, she bought the dog with all her money. I told her, like, I'm more than happy to have this dog in my house. Come see it whenever. I'll bring it over to your place. It just can't really be there at all times.
Were you in the same house you're in now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so, I mean, she wanted him, and I didn't. She had spent the last 4 months with him, and he was living with her. I wasn't going to argue it. She bought it. When she bought the dog, or when we were buying the dog, I told her I'll help her with anything besides financially. So.
Okay. On the 13th at 2:15 a.m., she sent you a text. I have your vape. You can come pick it up at my house. And you didn't see that till the next day. So you didn't go over to her house to pick the vape up because you didn't see the message. Is that correct?
I still think it's at the house, yeah.
The vape. What'd the vape look like?
It's just like black.
Remember the brand?
Baton.
Can you spell that for me?
Baton.
Now, guess what was found under Maddie's bed? I gave you a little hint earlier. It was Kaylee's phone and a vape under Maddie's bed. So if Kaylee was able to get away and she ran upstairs and hid in Maddie's room, she put her cell phone and there was a vape underneath the bed. And I bet no one found it. And I guarantee you there is probably pictures and audio on that phone. And that is why her parents will never get the phone. Possible evidence is out there.
Okay. I think Rich asked you this earlier, but I'm going to ask you again because it just came to my mind again. Do you remember if any of the people that were living in the house with her or any of the rest of them, if any of them had any sort of a large knife that was distinctive?
No, I don't.
Do you think you would have known that?
Probably not, no. But I know that like Maddie and Kaylee would never have anything like that. I didn't know the other girls that well.
Okay. Back to Xana. Do you know any of her family members?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Xana's family members. Wow. Wow, that's all redacted. And it might be just hearsay of what he's heard.
I'm not sure if she's still going to school over there or not.
Daz?
So she was, I'm sorry, Xana's sister was.
Yeah.
I don't know what house she was in, but I know she was in a sorority over
At
there.
WSU. We all know that.
Okay, so about Xana, you don't recall Xana having a boyfriend other than Ethan?
Not that I know, no.
And she's the one with the boyfriend?
She's the one with the boyfriend?
So I noticed in some social media postings, and I can't even tell you who they're from exactly, but Xana is described as somebody who's sort of a defender and a strong person that sort of protects people. And you earlier sort of described her as what were your words? Loud and outgoing. Did she ever have problems with people?
No, I can't think of a single one. Like I said, she's very likable. Like, I don't even know of anyone she didn't get along with. I think she did kind of move out of the house she was living in last year. I'm pretty sure she lived with last year, and I think that Xana kind of liked partying more than them, but that's the only possible conflict I can think of.
So the house that they lived in has been described by some people as a party house. That there were often large parties there and people coming and going. Is that true?
Yeah. More so at the beginning of this school year, I feel like. But, yeah, it's definitely is.
When would the beginning of the school year have been?
Kind of when everyone came up from, like, their hometowns, everyone's kind of excited to see each other. It kind of seemed like a central hotspot every weekend.
Now, I didn't have a civilian or Greek experience of college, so can you just explain to me, like, are these exclusive parties? Could just anybody from the street wander in? Was there an element where if you're not part of a certain house, you were kicked out? Like, particularly with regards to this home.
It's a little tough to say, especially in this situation, because Kaylee wasn't. Kaylee has friends that are a different group of people and so there's definitely like a mixed crowd coming in, but if there's someone that no one recognized, they would be kicked out.
And what would that look like?
I mean, in Moscow, it's a very common thing. Like, there's a lot of people who are not part of Greek life that try to get into parties and stuff. So usually it's a girl will ask a guy to ask someone to leave. I've never heard anything more than like come on, dude, like, let me stay. Like, it's usually not a big deal.
So they're usually allowed to stay, or they're usually
no. Like, I mean, if no one knows them, they're usually not welcome. But that it takes them to know one person, I guess, to be able to be there.
So the chances of an unknown person being able to come to these parties and learn the home would be not likely?
I think it could happen. I talked about this with the Moscow PD, that because of the way they just have so many friends and it is a party house, I don't think if one of the girls saw a guy walking through the house on a Saturday night that they didn't know, I don't think they would think anything of it.
They wouldn't even bat an eye. Just some random dude just walked through their house.
I mean, the girls that live there have guys over. I think that they would assume it's someone that they're with. I don't know as far as like the door code, if people were given that or not. I did know it. I know like Ethan knew it, obviously.
Well, so the access point, the kitchen, we don't have the map that you drew, but the slider from the kitchen on the second floor, how there's a code to get into that, or was it just a manual?
The back door was just a flip slide.
Was that commonly locked or commonly unlocked?
I think it was locked most of the time. I know Kaylee always locks her doors.
So to get in the front door, there's a keypad?
Mm-hmm.
A digital keypad or a mechanical keypad or what?
It's like, yeah, digital. Like there's 8 buttons.
And that's locked.
Yeah, it's always locked unless you type the password in.
Okay, so I'm envisioning who's getting into this house at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Presumably the doors are locked. They didn't find any signs of forced entry. They didn't find any broken locks or broken glass or any of that.
Yeah.
So either somebody let them in, or they knew the code to get in, or a door was left open.
And they're still going with 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So in your experience with this place, how many times have you been to this house since the beginning of the school year?
I don't know, 15. None of which, like the last month though, probably only 3 or 4 times.
So he's going over there at least once a week.
Just kind of for exchanging the dog or the dog's items.
I'm sorry, so in the last month, how many times have you been there?
Probably 3 or 4.
And you knew the code?
Yeah, I remember Moscow PD calling me a few days ago. I couldn't remember it like off the top of my head, but I just like remember typing it in, if that makes sense.
What is the code?
I don't know.
He doesn't know
I
the
told Moscow PD, but then they called me back and said that wasn't it. So I called the property management company and had them give it to Moscow PD.
You called the property management company to have them give the code to Moscow PD?
Yeah.
Why didn't Moscow PD call the property management company?
I don't know. I just said if it's helpful, I can give my property manager a call. I know it's the same one that I ran through.
Oh, okay, so same property manager you ran. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
How come he didn't know the code?
So
They must have changed it.
It's a sequence of buttons that you remember pushing, not necessarily the number of the buttons.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So your brain kind of has like where people have on their phone, they do like a little, so your numbers you don't remember, but you can just, you kind of know how the pattern goes.
Right.
In your brain.
And kind of back to what you were saying as far as how someone got in the home. I could see it likely as them letting someone in, only because if those calls were to me or before the incident happened, I don't understand why they wouldn't have called police rather than me, unless it was just them calling me to say like, hey, this guy's acting weird.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. He's volunteering this information. Listen to what he said again.
I could see it likely as them letting someone in.
He could see it as them letting someone in. We know who has the codes.
Only because if those calls were to me or before the incident happened.
If those calls were to me or before the incident happened.
I don't understand why they wouldn't have called police rather than me, unless it was just them calling me to say, like, hey, this guy's acting weird, like, or he's like being aggressive or something. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so the text to you about come pick up my vape, that's at 2:15 a.m. They are last seen on video at the Grub Truck, I think at 1:45. So we don't know where she was when she sent that. She could have still been on her way home.
Oh, wow.
Or she could have been home.
Wow. So they never saw Maddie and Kaylee get home. Holy moly. This was on November 17th. November 17th in the afternoon, they are interviewing JD, and the detectives have just revealed they are not sure when Maddie and Kaylee got home. They have not seen anything to prove that. Wow. Wow. Jeez. They don't know.
Not sure. And I don't know. Other officers may know the answer to this question. I don't know how she got from the Grub Truck back to the house, whether they walked.
I do know.
Okay.
That's another name that could be worth looking into. His name is...
What? His name is what? Shoot. It sounded like it started with an A.
And I don't know. Other officers may know the answer to this question. I don't know how she got from the Grub Truck back to the house, whether they walked.
I do know.
Okay.
That's another name that could be worth looking into. His name is...
Spell the last, please.
G.
Not certain. He drives for Uber.
Oh, Eric Gower.
Like in his mid-30s. But there's just like a few college girls that he likes to give free rides to. So he doesn't like go through the Uber app. He just kind of takes calls on command.
Has Kaylee ever used him as a driver?
Multiple times. I know he's been doing it for years, where older have kind of passed on his number to her. I've always thought it was weird. I've told Kaylee that. I asked her to stop using him for rides. But she just says, like, no, he's like a really sweet guy. He's just lonely.
Ugh.
But he didn't charge her for Uber rides?
He never does.
Ugh.
Does he expect
Ugh.
education in some way?
Dude, I just got like cringe. I just got like, ugh. Ugh. I don't know about you, but I just got like massive cringe vibes. Like, he even asked her not to ride with Eric Gower. Ugh. And remember the poll I did earlier? Are you more likely to believe Jack Showalter or Eric Gower? And we all said Showalter. Holy moly. That is your gut instinct, folks. Ugh. Ugh.
No. I think that I don't know if I'm understanding what you're saying.
So most people don't do stuff for free. That gets old quick. So I would assume if a guy's...
That's why was always
Right. So you thought, has he done that with other girls? Had he given them rides and consummated that with some kind of physical intimacy later, or?
I doubt it, just based off the girls who I know gave him.
What's he look like?
He actually just requested to follow me on Instagram like 2 days ago.
Is he physically fit and attractive, or is he sort of a older, not so attractive guy?
He's asking a guy.
He's not fit, but he's not.
Is he the kind of guy that somebody like Kaylee would want to have a relationship with?
No.
Because why?
Just a little like nerdy, like.
JD's a little nerdy.
How old?
In my opinion.
30s?
I would guess in his 30s, yeah. I've gotten a ride from him once with Kaylee. This is when we were dating, and she said, "Hey, the ride's here," and we're leaving the club, and we hopped in. I just figured it was an Uber until he talked about it.
In Moscow, is that him or a different one?
It doesn't look like him. I could pull up his Instagram.
Oh no, Rochelle, don't tell me that.
Anybody besides cute girls?
That's not that I know of. I don't think anyone asks. But I do know, like.
So this has been going on long enough that this is a multi-year thing where older girls at the house say, "Hey, here's this guy's number." Do they go through Uber, or they just call him directly because they have his number?
Or text him.
You said he would go off there and turn off his Uber thing?
I know he didn't do it like through the Uber app. So I think he would just kind of pause his Uber driving.
You said he would go down to Lewiston?
Yeah, Kaylee's told me a story about how her friends were at a bar in Lewiston at like 1 a.m. and they gave him a call, and he drove through the blizzard.
Oh my God.
Lewiston grade down to Lewiston.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And then picked him up and brought him back to Moscow. Which just kind of seems bizarre for someone to do that.
That is bizarre. If you guys understand, you have to, that is so high up in the mountains when you're coming down into Moscow. I don't know how to explain this. It's like you are literally up so high, you are in the clouds. And in the middle of a blizzard coming down that pass, it is freaking scary, folks. I would never take that road in a blizzard from Lewiston to Moscow.
I'm not trying to lead the conversation, but you mentioned something about the fact that you thought they had gotten an Uber that night?
I had no idea how they got to and from until he actually did reach out to police and told them that he gave them a ride to the bar and back from Grub Truck to their house.
How do you know that?
Kaylee's sister told me that he had talked to the police and has been cooperative. And I also got footage from a neighbor's doorbell camera, searched through that, and based off the time he left at Grub Truck, based off the time the girls left Grub Truck, at least leaving the camera, it does match up from when he drives by the house to drop them off, and he turns around and 51 seconds later he drives back the other way.
What kind of car?
I know that he drives
Prius.
So it was a little tough to tell in the video.
Where's the footage? Does someone have it?
I have it.
Where?
On my phone, but I have no service. The girls who live there at the neighbor house.
Where did it come from?
They have a doorbell camera.
A ring or something?
Yeah, I can show you which house on that map.
Do you know who
Can you not get into our
I
Wi-Fi?
think we drew on this yesterday. I think that's the camera you're talking about.
Yeah. In the cases.
Yeah, there's a trick to it. So try to get into it. Sometimes it'll be
We
like,
did do that a minute.
You want to take a break? Do
Yourself to the
you want to take a break?
bathroom. Yeah, let's take a break for
All
a
right,
second.
let-
Why does that?
Let's take a break. We've been at this for an hour and 22 minutes. It is
Oh my God, don't leave me hanging.
it's 11:26 a.m. We're going to take a break.
If you like the
Oh my God, Jules, you left us hanging. 11:26, y'all. If you don't know who Jules is, go and like her channel, leave a comment, tell her thank you. This was part 1 on a premiere that she dropped. I had no idea that this was going to be a cliff freaking hanger. Holy moly. Now I got to go and see if she's got another one lined up because I want to know now. Holy moly. What in the world? That was just part 1. There is no part 2. Jules, you're killing me. If anybody knows Jules, ask her when she's going to put up part 2. It was just released 3 hours ago. They come back? I don't know. We heard 4 hours last night. 4 hours. We just spent 2.5 just listening to the audio. Holy moly. She has to have part 2. Oh my God, you're leaving me hanging on the Eric Gower. Holy moly. We know that one person couldn't have done this. If he's a creepy stalker type of vibey dude, yeah. If anything, he's got some bad vibes. But how? I think she said no live tonight. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man. On her live, they come back. Hers was 4 hours. Oh my God. You guys are so faithful to come and listen to what I've got to say, in addition to a Friday night cliffhanger from the 80s. Didn't you hate that on Dallas in the 80s? Oh my God. Oh, if anything, it just screams total creep, if anything. So she had this live, I guess, last night. Did she? I didn't even get to see it. She had a live, and then she's got that just dropped as a premiere in the videos. Oh my gosh. It dropped like 10 minutes after I got done with my live, and then I said, "You know what? I'm coming back on to do a live so we can review this together." This is wild. Well, you've guys got time now tonight until I bring you tomorrow's. You've got time to go and watch Birdie or anybody else that's live on the IDAHO4 that has some new information. And there is obviously, I think at Birdie's tonight, there's a call in. So enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like, tag, share, hype, do whatever you need to help me get myself out there a little bit more. And tonight's live was short. It killed me. Oh my goodness, Grammy T, I'm sorry. So yeah, listen to it again. I am shocked she's taking out the redacted minutes to shorten it. Oh yeah. It was probably much longer last night. Shout out to Jules. She brings so many good things that we can review. I'll tag her in this live and make sure you thank her for that. Her community is amazing. They help crowdfund so they can definitely get as many FOIAs and public requests as possible. I'm still waiting on a few more. I'm excited about those to come in. Birdie's live call-in is starting right now. I just got a notice. So enjoy the rest of your night. Love you guys. I miss you. You're my community. Talk to you soon. Be well.